Okay, thank you. So I would like to say a few words about a work in progress. And it is on a Hurtlex resource for Bulgarian. But of course, I don't mean to hurt you before having your coffee. So let's see what it is about. I'd like to tell you some background information about the task. Supporting the supporting editing system, some problems when cleaning this resource and why we have to clean it, and also mappings to the BTB WordNet and the problems there, and some conclusions, of course. Okay, so the Hurtlex resource is a multilingual lexicon of hate or offensive words, so not the best one that we want to have and want to use, but anyway, it is very related to sentiment analysis, and I believe that it would be also very useful for this. This resource started actually with the Italian hate lexicon. First, it was developed for Italian by Tullio De Mauro and organized in 17 categories. Later on, they decided to extend it to other languages through links to available synset-based lexical thesauri, among them multi-wordnet and also BabelNet. And of course, they used machine translation to connect these lemmas to other languages. So, as I already said, it is a lexicon of offensive, aggressive, hate words in over 50 languages, among which Bulgarian. So they did this one in automatic way. Then the words were classified in 70 categories, like the source area of usage, whether the offense is related to plants, animals, or other things, the target qualities or groups, like moral, behavioral defects, potential negative connotations, and so on. There, it's very interesting because another category was added, whether the word expresses a stereotype or not. However, these are very culture-specific, I would say, features. And of course, they were inherited for Bulgarian, but in order to have it truly for Bulgarian, we should organize the responses from Bulgarians here. So it was not gathered yet, this information. Then they also belong to two other categories from the authors of this original resource. Conservative, where only words with offensive senses were translated from the original lexicon. Of course, in the original it's offense, and then it's translated. And of course, nothing prevents it to be non-offensive in the other language. Inclusive, all the potentially relevant senses of the words in the original lexicon were translated, which of course got us to much noise. As a result, from the automatic translation, due to this non-exhaustive coverage of various linked multilingual wordnets and resources, of course, what the result was for the different languages, not might, but it includes ambiguous, incorrect, or questionable words. Thus, during the process of obtaining the Hurtlex lexicons in other languages, it became clear that there is noise in the resulting resources, such as inappropriate words, nothing to do with offense, or non-comprehensible strings, or unclear in their offensive meanings words. As a result, some cleaning is needed over the obtained lexicon, and most work that was done on this for another language, it was actually for modern Greek. They did a lot. Okay, so our task was, and it is a task in progress, as I said, cleaning and linking the Bulgarian part of Hurtlex. So this version for Bulgarian was downloaded from Hurtlex repository and then manually checked. Of course, I don't think that we finished checking, but at least once it was. Initially, it had around 2,865 words, but some had to be deleted since they were repetitions of the word forms of the same lexeme. And some normalization was performed over the same words with varying spelling, mostly the same word with a capital and small letter. So it was the easier part, of course. At the moment, the lexicon consists of 1,370 words, which means that slightly more than 50% of the original list was discarded already. At the same time, the lexicon is further enriched with the synonyms from the WordNet, of course, in cases when we have these relations. In addition, it has to be noted that Hurtlex doesn't include only isolated words, but also phrases. Despite this fact, the proper handling of multi-word expressions remains for future work, since some of them came as isolated words and you have to guess what the other part is, and other as expressions. Okay, so here for this work, we used a specially designed system for the dictionary creation in CladderBG, but there was a specially customized version within this system. And otherwise, of course, we can manipulate or create other dictionaries if we want to. The system also provides possibilities of interlinking between the various resources, which is good. So what we have there, the lexeme or phrase itself, the part of speech of the lexeme, or the headword of the phrase, the status of the entry completion, for example, labels ready, to check, irrelevant, indication of whether the word is present in WordNet or not, the definition of the lexeme meaning. Of course, if it comes from the WordNet, it is present there, or if not, we just search in other dictionaries. However, it is difficult because it's really a fancy lexica and not easy to get a good definition already registered somewhere. And also some comments might be added. It was very difficult for me to pick up an example that is not so offensive, but just to illustrate, because yeah, it really took me a lot of time. But anyway, it is something I apologize to the non-Bulgarian speaking colleagues, but on the left, you can see different words for lazy, laziness, a lazy person, and so on. And then something like dirty person and below, and then a person who murmurs all the time. So the second part is the part of speech, the second column, I mean. Then it is indicated that it's ready from the person. Then the ID, and of course we keep also the connection to the way it came from the original database. And that's why there are words with capital letters or something. We keep the original words as they came from the automatic resource. And then the last column gives the relation to the WordNet. And if there is no WordNet with the lemma and definition, then we can just add from other dictionaries or resources. Okay, so the cleaning of this, of course, we are aware of the fact that decisions about which word or phrase is relevant or not with relation to being offensive are not easy to take, since many words can become offensive just in a given context, and potentially maybe each word from the lexicon might become. For that reason, they are not removed completely, but they are just marked as non-appropriate. Thus, we start with the lexemes and phrases that are really offensive as a core set from this. And then gradually we try to integrate also the context-dependent ones. So, as I already said, if the word is already present in the WordNet with the offensive meaning, which is not so often, then everything is copied from there. Category, definition, examples, everything. If, however, the lemma or the meaning is not present there, a definition is added by the editing linguist together with an example. And of course, the new information should be added in the WordNet as well. We can also leave some comments about not having definition, or we are not sure about something, and so on. A strategy is required how to deal with words that are not offensive per se, but they might become offensive. And here I also really picked up a very mild and, example, like we have the word ptica, bird, and it's not offensive. However, if we say strana ptica, which is a strange bird or strange person, it might become offensive. So another observation is that many words are not offensive, or not. They are not meant to offend directly someone, but they are stereotypical for maybe more negative words, so to say, like falseness, or malva, rumor, or something like this. So there is also a problem to see whether we want to work with everything or just the words that are really directly offensive to people. The steps of cleaning, the content, of course, is checked. Initially, we started in alphabetical order, but with the work done, we could also check for completeness, availability in the WordNet, by part of speech, and so on. Okay, the correctness of the part of speech is also checked and changed if necessary. If the lexeme is currently present, I already said in the resource, in WordNet, it is marked as true, if not as false. And the most also very relevant part here is to have an example that is associated with this meaning, not just to have the meaning or just the lemma. And here you have, of course, I'm agnostic to any politician in Bulgaria, but if you want to find some offensive comments, usually they go to public people. And here it is about the word tikva, or pumpkin, that in Bulgarian it goes to a not very nice way of referring to a head of a person. And although it is metaphorical, the example, it says that our previous prime minister, previous prime minister, Boyko Borisov, the arrogant Boyko, we also have another offensive word, he just raised his head with the help of the right wing, which is corrupted, something like this. And it is metaphor already. Okay, just you to have an idea how it looks like. And obviously we need more examples, not only metaphorical or literal, but a bunch of examples on this. Okay, the challenges. What we did, deleting strings or lexica that are clear errors, trying to establish criteria for keeping or discarding words, and contextualizing the word with defensive meaning. For the errors, it was easy because you can discard examples like jablka parquet, something like apple parquet, that is meaningless. And the other example you can see as well. And also from the stop words, there were many included in this, like with the exception of. So it was the easy part. But then we could also see different phrases like occupations. For example, a business owner or a special correspondent of some media somewhere, an entrepreneur, not the best word of mine, or some domains like plant biotechnologies. So it was also in this automatic part that had to be cleaned. Or some common language words like changing clothes, for example. Okay. Adding examples to only offensive words, of course, it's very, very important. And as I said, not only one example, we need more examples. And here I just gave one about the word temerut, an antisocial person. And in the English translation, of course, we can see that it contains also other offensive words like lazy, lazier, more corrupted, and so on. I will not read it. Okay, the mappings to the WordNet. The good thing when you have some relation to the WordNet is, of course, that you get synonyms. They might be the same register, but also in other registers. The most common cases for not having there is that the lemma, the word is missing, or the lemma is there, but the meaning is not there. Just some statistics on the mappings. We can see that almost half are not there, which is normal. It is very expressive lexica. The number of nouns is such big because we also count the synonyms that we get from there. The ready entries are a bit higher than the not ready ones. And with no definition, that we really have problems of inventing one, there are 72 cases. Okay, we go to the conclusions. Again, I would like to stress that it is really a work in progress on the cleaning and enriching this Bulgarian part of Hurtlex resource. But I hope that it will be enhanced even more because now we aim to create something like a HurtNet, including, of course, English. We cannot live without English, but also Bulgarian, Greek, Italian, French, and Arabic, I think. So I hope that in international team, it would be easier to find some core of these offensive meanings without, of course, losing our national ones, and see how we can prepare such a resource. There was an idea to use, of course, ChatGPT to produce everything for us. But I think at the moment we focus mostly on the idea that we would like to have human created core of these offensive meanings. And then maybe we could also use ChatGPT for expanding and so on. So at the moment we are at this stage. Especially for the Bulgarian part, we would like to handle the context-dependent offensive lexica, the multi-word expressions, bigger context, and of course to add the meanings and lemmas with other resources, among which is also the WordNet. Okay, so I stop here. Thank you for your attention. I didn't write it, but I said thank you.